There's one type on this list that narcissists gravitate toward more than any other, and it's not because they're weak. It's because their greatest strengths get used against them. Today, we're ranking all 16 MBTI personality types by who narcissists are most drawn to, and which types are most likely to keep doubting themselves, protecting the relationship, or trying to fix the other person long after the damage has started. Drop your type below. Let's get into it. Number 16, ENTJ. ENTJs are about as far from a narcissist magnet as it gets. They don't defer, they don't over-explain themselves, and they have zero patience for emotional manipulation. That's not what's happening here. Move on. A narcissist needs leverage. With an ENTJ, there isn't any. They tend to identify the dynamic fast and shut it down before it has a chance to take hold.
Number 15, INTJ. INTJs are pattern recognition machines, and narcissistic behavior is a pattern. They don't extend trust easily, they track inconsistencies, and they don't feel compelled to fix someone else's emotional chaos. I noticed this a while ago. I've already adjusted accordingly. By the time most people realize they're being manipulated, an INTJ has already mentally exited the relationship and is just working out the logistics.
Number 14, ISTP. ISTPs are emotionally disengaged enough that the standard manipulation toolkit, guilt, emotional pressure, reality distortion, mostly just slides off. I don't really have a reaction to that. They're not immune because they're strong. They're immune because they're simply not that invested, which in this context is basically the same thing. Number 13, ESTP. ESTPs watch what people do, not what they say. And narcissistic behavior, when you're watching for it, is not subtle. Yeah, I caught that. We're done. They're grounded in observable reality, which is the narcissist's least favorite environment. The charm offensive that works on most people just reads as a performance to an ESTP. Number 12, ENTP. ENTPs are genuinely difficult to control because they find the attempt intellectually interesting rather than threatening. Oh, are we doing the guilt thing now? Okay, let's talk about that. They'll dismantle the manipulation out loud in real time with visible enjoyment. Narcissists need a compliant audience. ENTPs are the opposite of that. Number 11, ESTJ. ESTJs run on structure, consistency, and clear expectations. Narcissistic behavior, shifting blame, rewriting history, emotional unpredictability, conflicts directly with all of that. That's not what was agreed. This isn't working. They're not particularly vulnerable to emotional manipulation. Their weak spot is early on, before the pattern is established. A narcissist who presents as competent and organized can get further with an ESTJ than almost any other approach.
Number 10, INTP. INTPs can identify a manipulative dynamic logically long before they do anything about it emotionally. I know what's happening here, I just haven't decided what to do about it yet. That gap between intellectual recognition and emotional disengagement is where narcissists operate. An INTP might fully understand they're being manipulated and still stay in the situation longer than makes sense, because leaving requires an emotional decision, not a logical one. Number 9, ISTJ. ISTJs are consistent, grounded, and harder to manipulate than most. The vulnerability is loyalty. Once an ISTJ has committed to someone, they extend an enormous amount of benefit of the doubt before they'll accept that the person they trust is the problem. Something's not right here, but maybe I'm missing something. They're not wrong that they might be missing something. They're just wrong about who's responsible for the confusion. Number 8, ISFP. ISFPs have a strong internal value system that eventually pulls them out of unhealthy dynamics, but the word eventually is doing a lot of work there. They sense something is wrong early. They don't always act on it early.
I feel like something's off, but I can't really explain it to anyone. Without external validation, ISFPs can stay in a confusing dynamic longer than they should, absorbing the emotional confusion quietly until the internal cost becomes undeniable. Number 7. ESFP. ESFPs are drawn to energy, intensity, and charisma, which is, unfortunately, also a description of how a lot of narcissists present in the early stages of a relationship. They're a lot, but in a fun way, right? The shift from exciting to controlling tends to happen gradually enough that ESFPs don't catch the moment it changed. By the time the energy turns, they're already invested.
Number 6. ENFP. ENFPs see potential in people, which is genuinely one of their best qualities, and specifically the thing that makes them vulnerable here. They don't ignore red flags, they reinterpret them. I know how that looked, but I really think there's more to them than that. Every time a narcissist shows who they are, an ENFP finds a reason to believe it's not the full picture, and they're optimistic enough to keep looking for the better version long past the point where the evidence is clear. Now we're in the top 5. The types in this group share something specific. It's not that they don't see what's happening. Most of them do, at least eventually. It's that something inside them makes leaving feel wrong, even when everything else says go. Hit like and subscribe if you're enjoying this. We do this every week. Number 5. INFP. Most people would rank INFPs higher, but their strong internal value system is actually more protective than it looks. The vulnerability isn't that they can't see the problem, it's that when someone tells them their perception is wrong, they genuinely consider it. Maybe I am being too sensitive. I do that sometimes. Narcissists don't need to work hard to introduce self-doubt in an INFP. The INFP will do a significant portion of that work themselves, out of genuine commitment to being fair. That sincerity gets weaponized, but eventually the internal compass corrects, and when it does, the exit is final. Number 4. ESFJ. ESFJs feel the weight of other people's emotions as if they were their own, which makes guilt-based manipulation almost frictionless. A narcissist doesn't need to do much, just make an ESFJ feel responsible for their pain. I just don't want things to get worse. Tell me what I can do. They'll work to repair a dynamic that was never healthy to begin with, because walking away feels like causing harm. And for someone wired to avoid causing harm, that's an almost impossible instruction to follow. Number 3. ISFJ. ISFJs combine 3 things that make them a near-perfect target: deep loyalty, high conflict avoidance, and a genuine willingness to prioritize everyone else's needs over their own. I must have handled that wrong. I'll do better. They notice inconsistencies. They track when something doesn't add up. And then they assume the most charitable explanation, because assuming the worst about someone they love feels more painful than absorbing the confusion themselves. By the time an ISFJ decides the relationship isn't fixable, they've usually given it far more chances than it deserved. Number 2. ENFJ. ENFJs don't just care about people, they feel responsible for them. And a narcissist, who presents as someone in genuine pain who just needs the right person to understand them, is exactly the kind of person an ENFJ can't walk away from easily. I know they're difficult, but I really think I can help them if I just... That sentence never ends well. ENFJs will stay in a dynamic that's clearly costing them, because leaving feels like giving up on someone who needed them. The narcissist doesn't need to trap them. The ENFJ's own sense of responsibility does that.
And finally, topping our list at number 1, INFJ. INFJs take the top spot, and the reason is more specific than most people expect. INFJs are extraordinarily perceptive. They read people deeply, they sense manipulation early, and their gut is almost always right. The problem is, they don't trust it. Not fully. Not when it conflicts with someone they love.
Not when trusting it would mean accepting that someone they deeply connected with has been deliberately misleading them. I feel like something's been wrong for a long time, but maybe I'm reading too much into it. That gap between sensing something clearly and trusting that sensing enough to act on it is exactly where narcissists live. The more an INFJ cares, the wider that gap gets, and INFJs tend to care deeply. Their empathy tells them to stay, their perception tells them to leave, and for longer than it should, the empathy wins. That's not a weakness, it's a strength that gets used against them, and that's what makes them number one on this list.
So, where did your type land? Drop it in the comments. And be honest, have you ever stayed in a dynamic longer than you should have? And looking back, can you see exactly why? And if this made you wonder which types are most equipped to actually see through a narcissist and take the whole thing apart, we ranked that too. Check out Ranking 16 Personalities. Who is most likely to deconstruct a narcissist? Linked in the description below. If you enjoyed this, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We do this every week. And remember, being a narcissist magnet doesn't mean you're broken. It usually means you're someone worth targeting. The goal isn't to care less, it's to trust what you already know.